Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go, this is Valley News Live at 5.
People in Grand Forks may have found their way around the new COVID-related bar restrictions. Hear what city leaders are saying in just a moment. Authorities need your help finding a missing Bemidji teenager. And coming up, we take a look at how the pandemic has been affecting senior citizens over the last 7 months. Bargoers in Grand Forks seem to have found a loophole in the city's 11 p.m. bar curfew. New video shows large groups of people making their way across the river to enjoy a cold one for a few extra hours. Valley News Team's crime and safety reporter Bailey Hurley talked with city leaders today who say they're not surprised.
Neighbors in the Northern Valley say this is a normal sight on the Sorley Bridge come about 11:15 on the weekends, as many, they say, make their way to spend a few extra hours at the East Grand Forks bars and pubs.
I can't say it's totally unexpected, but those are snapshots in time, and it's not everyone that's doing that.
Phelan says so far the bar curfew has helped slow cases in Grand Forks County, but says there is not yet an end date to the order.
We know 11 o'clock is a bit of a bewitching hour for college students to start heading out to bars. And so if we could mitigate multiple groups from coming together in establishments on the best we could, we thought that was another positive measure. And
as for concerns on increasing Polk County's COVID-19 caseload, East Grand Forks City Administrator David Murphy says it's hard to see how things like this would increase the risk, as the amount of flow between the two cities is already so high. Murphy also says East Grand Forks does not have the authority to amend bar closing times. As in Minnesota, Mayor Steve Gander would have to declare a state of emergency or amend the ordinance, things Murphy says are not going to happen.
Whether it's Polk County or Grand Forks County or the cities of Grand Forks, East Grand Forks, we really are in this together.
Phelan says he hopes those making the trek are being safe and smart, encouraging bargoers to stay in small groups and to always wear masks. In the Northern Valley, Bailey Hurley, Valley News Live.
City leaders in both Grand Forks and East Grand Forks say the health department conducts compliance checks on bars and restaurants to make sure that social distancing and smaller capacity sizes are being followed. The hazy skies are still hanging around, and so is the warmer weather. Let's find out how this evening looks. Here's Hutch with your First Alert forecast.
Andrea, thanks so much. It is a little bit hazy out there. We do have some actual cloud cover across the area as well, but temperatures are pretty agreeable. Quite a range, though, as we take a look from the northern counties where we have in Bemidji 63. Warm that up to 97 in central South Dakota for the state's capital there. Here's your planner for Fargo tonight. 70s continue. Our wind is going to be southerly and just a little on the breezy side, particularly south of Fargo. We slip into the 60s as we head towards sunset. Likewise, 60s for most of the evening in Grand Forks, 7:42 your time of sunset. Now, if you like warm weather, we have something for you in the forecast. If you like cold weather and frost, we have something for you in the forecast. If you like the weekend, we'll let you know what you can expect. Andrea, all that here in just a few moments.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Hutch. Police are investigating after a fight that led to a man being hit by a vehicle. Around 2:30 Sunday morning, the Cass County Sheriff's Office got a call to head to Leonard, North Dakota. Deputies learned that a 22-year-old Hillsboro resident and a 48-year-old West Fargo resident were involved in a fight. One of them was hit by the other person and the driver took off. The victim was taken to a hospital. No one has been arrested yet. Authorities in Otter Tail County are looking for tips on who broke into Holy Cross Catholic Church in Butler, Minnesota. It happened sometime between September 5th and the 9th. Officials say the person stole $250 from lock boxes in the sanctuary and office and caused damage inside the church. The Bemidji Police Department needs your help finding a 16-year-old girl. Police say LaKaylee Kingbird was last seen around 11:30 Saturday night. They believe she left the area voluntarily. LaKaylee is 5'3", about 125 pounds, with brown eyes and brown hair. She was last seen wearing a gray Minnesota Vikings sweatshirt with white tennis shoes. Anyone with information can call the Bemidji Police Department at this phone number, 218-333-9111. Two teenagers are recovering after a rollover accident in Otter Tail County over the weekend. The call came in around 5 Sunday evening for an accident involving a utility terrain vehicle, or UTV, on private property. A teenager was airlifted to a St. Cloud hospital. The other teen was taken to a hospital in Wadena. Officials say their injuries are not life-threatening and that neither one was using a seatbelt or helmet. Students across the valley are continuing to receive free meals in an attempt to help families struggling during the pandemic. North Dakota's school superintendent was in Fargo to see what's changed in school kitchens and cafeterias. Valley News Team's Callie Hubbard caught up with her and has our story.
Carrots, peaches, and sandwich.
Natalia is a first grader at Ed Clapp Elementary School in Fargo. She gets to sit by her classmates Sonia and Emmanuel, further apart than normal.
Education will never be the same system that it was in February of 2020.
North Dakota Superintendent Kirsten Baszler visited the school to see how Fargo Public Schools are managing their food service during the pandemic.
Fewer self-serving opportunities. Generally, our students would grab their own milk cartons. Servers are providing more service to the students.
Lunch is now described like a baseball game with these cafeteria circles. You can't go to second base until you've been to first base. Stay at first base until it's your turn to go to second base.
I think we are learning so much about individualized, personalized needs of every single student.
Baszler adds it's up to our local leaders to decide whether Fargo and West Fargo should go back to full-time in-person learning.
It's everyone's goal in the entire state to return as many of our students, all of our students, back to in-person class every day, 5 days a week, as safely as possible.
In Fargo, Callie Hubbard, Valley News Live.
To learn more about what's changed in school cafeterias across all local districts, you can download our VNL News app. Let's take a look at the COVID-19 numbers now. In Minnesota, health officials are reporting 643 new cases of COVID-19, along with 3 new deaths. More than 1,900 deaths are attributed to the disease. More than 78,000 people have recovered. In North Dakota, there are 255 new cases along with 2 more deaths, bringing the death toll to 170. The active case count is more than 2,700. Detroit Lakes High School shut down today after someone there tested positive for COVID-19. The school district is switching to online learning starting tomorrow. Teachers who have been in the classroom are using today to make the switch to distance learning. Health officials say the person who is infected was in the school last Wednesday and Thursday. They have notified people who were in close contact. School officials in Detroit Lakes say the risk of exposure for other people in the building is no greater than the risk of contracting the virus in the general community. High school students will move to full distance learning until September 25th. High school activities will also be moved to virtual only. Elementary students will continue to be taught in person. Middle school students will continue with the hybrid model. Transit administrators say they hope thousands of people fill out a MAT bus survey seeking feedback from the public. The survey went active last week, and the last day to fill it out is September 28th. It's part of an effort by the Fargo-Moorhead Metropolitan Council of Governments to develop a 5-year plan for MAT bus. The council says it's thinking about adding a Sunday service, but it would be costly. We have a link to the survey on our website, valleynewslive.com. Fargo police busted 18 people Saturday night in the NDSU area for partying. According to a Facebook post, most of the citations were for minors consuming or possessing alcohol and noise violations. Last weekend, Fargo police issued 36 violations for a party at the T Lofts that was mostly NDSU students. Yet another iconic New York City tradition is being scrapped because of the pandemic. The Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade will be dramatically scaled back. We have long associated the giant inflatable balloons with that parade, and people of all ages have come to enjoy the tradition, but not this year. There will be no live spectators, and parade performances will be contained in a small area in Herald Square for TV cameras only. Up next, coming to the aid of first responders, how a crowdfunding company is getting money safely into the hands of families working the front lines.
Not a bad way to start the work week. Many of us up north in the 60s and near 80 down at the South Dakota border. It was pretty average in Fargo today, and we hit our average high for this time of the year. Same thing goes in Grand Forks. Above average temperatures and below average temperatures in the forecast. Details next.